Matt Palmer.
Good luck, pal.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I was kind of hoping somebody else might go first. All right, so I'll add context to one first. Number three, it's not one of my picks, but for me, it very strongly says Indigenous flag. So the Australian Indigenous flag, it's upside down for that, but that's like an instant connection that I make with that image. So other people might feel similarly. I think Matt pointing out the fetus shape in number five, that really does give it something, even if you don't see it the same way, to see it as sort of like a creature being nurtured. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I'm not as decisive about this category as other categories. Uh, yeah, I also think 15 as like it seems like it's obvious that it's a standout, but it really is a standout. That's absolutely stunning, especially like you say, the raw's been checked and everything, and I imagine there was some sort of optical thing going on in that, and they've really made a very refined image out of it. Very beautiful, and I think 17 is also something that's kind of on my radar as a little bit different, kind of feels a little bit watercolory and pastel and a little bit quirky as well, while documenting habitat in terms of the birds' interactions in that space. So those are the ones that are kind of pulling me.
Anna.
Well, abstracts are a little bit my thing, so I absolutely loved doing this category and ended up with far too many to then whittle down into our narrow numbers. Number seven, it is incredible to me. I know it's an aerial, and aerials aren't normally something I tend to go for, but I feel like this is so gritty and urban, and I see it kind of plastered in like the underground as a big poster with red writing on it that is advertising some kind of modern art exhibition at the Tate or something. I just think it's just got this real grittiness to it, and obviously the context we understand in the context of this is a landscape photography composite competition, but I think anyone looking at it outside of that context wouldn't necessarily even see it as a photo. So I think that's just superb, really well composed. Really enjoyed the last one, the pastel colors. I think that's quite unique. Another aerial, obviously, but I think it's really nicely composed. I like the lines running down, and then you've got the sea at the bottom or lake, I don't know which. I think that's just really interesting. And then number 10 is lovely. Number 16 as well, like that, the tessellations. Both of those have kind of limited color palettes, as in they've got the kind of two opposite colors in them, but they're very limited, and it really just goes on texture, which I think is quite clever. I mean, I do really like the ice circles as well, but it's probably not in my top images. And then number five is quite, it's mind bending, isn't it? I like
Yes.
how they've what they've done with the color. It's quite a muted, it's not a bright ocean or a bright sky, is it? So it's just that really nice kind of gray, turquoisey.
Yes.
I feel like they've really thought about the color choices
It's beautiful.
in terms of the processing. So I think it's really interesting. Quite,
That's great.
it's unique.
Very nice. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
many good photos here.
so many.
Jack.
Yeah, I struggled with this one because it's not my type of like focus, but I was in like just jaw drop the whole time I was looking at them. But for me, the easiest one that stands out is 10, just for the I just find it fascinating because I don't know what it is. I love the lights, I love the shapes, the vein structure going through it. I think it's so well to see something like this. And then 13 as well, I think just for the colors, it's so hard to beat that color combination, but because it just looks like a mixture of glass, water, lava, just so many different layers, and it kind of almost gives me that astro feeling as well, almost like the nebula look.
Oh yeah,
In
totally.
those,
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you see what I mean? It's got that like
Yeah.
core to it, and I just find there's so much going on. It's kind of got qualities of 10 in it, and I think I really like that. And then 15, just because I wish I took it. I'm obsessed with rainbows anyway, but because it's so like subtle, and I feel like it's processed brilliantly, and the perfect shutter speed. It's brilliant. But then also number 5, and you know what? I don't even know why, because I don't know what it is. I was the same. I couldn't work out if it was sky or water, but I think there's a bit of motion in there, and it just draws me into it for something so different. So they're kind of my top picks, and I must admit 14 is in there as well, because the discs, to compose something like that is so clever. So I'd imagine there's hundreds of these. So very, very clever.
Thanks, Jack. Who we got?
So for me, I do really like 7, 14, and 16, but they're all drone images of ice from above. And if I had to pick one of the 3, definitely 7. There's that face in there that's very reminiscent of Van Gogh's The Scream that I really, really love. And apart from that, it's just simple texture, very simple color, and what Anna said, you can just see this in like a brutalist, all concrete contemporary museum in an art exhibition. I absolutely love that. And then the Deadflay one, I love because it is next to impossible to get something unique in that place. And you would think that it's more possible from the ground, but from above is more difficult. And this is very unique. And like I say, it's a very, very long shot, and shooting long shots from a helicopter is very difficult. And then I absolutely love the underwater image. It's just got color variation, texture variation. It looks like something from a different planet. And the little air bubbles caught in that bit of moss is fantastic for me. Not a popular choice so far, clearly, but yeah, I love this. It's something completely different.
Yes, Jennifer.
So abstracts, natural abstracts especially, are my jam. So I had a lot of fun with this category. Right off the bat, 10 was one of my favorites, just because of the composition with the ridges, the granules, and not only that, but the slight cool warm contrast. I especially appreciate just that one little line of granules in the middle that are highlighted, and they're warm in the sea of cool granules. Like, just looking for those details, and the photographer just paying attention to those types of things on these scenes, just perfect. And again, no context, you have no idea how it is. Yeah, that little line right there just catches my eye. Again, I've changed my mind on a few of these that I had in my top 3 originally. 17 is very high on my list. Those pastel colors, I know it's an aerial, but it's still so abstract. Like, was this shot off a sidewalk, or, was it an aerial? So that's kind of why I've kept it in my top 3. The footprints are really cool, but what really stands out to me, I just love that pink and purple pool off to the left in a sea of kind of muted earthy tones. Really nicely done. And then actually, now that everyone's talked about the one ice one with the face, I actually really enjoy that one now. 7, really cool. Everything everyone has said, I feel the same way. 16, I really enjoy, because this is probably the geologist in me, but I don't know if I'm looking at a thin section of rock under a microscope. I don't know if it's broken up oils. I've photographed things very similar to that. The gradation, the matrix, just so cool. And not only that, but just the texture inside each of those pieces, especially on the bottom, is just fascinating. So yeah, I know it's probably ice, but it could be so many different things. And it's just, I don't know, I just love that. I'm a sucker for those types of scenes. And I think those are kind of my top ones. I do like the ice circles. And I know I shouldn't be thinking like this, but since I've seen it in the project, I like it more in the project. I mean, this is super cool. The warm cool, I am a sucker for that. But the other ones just kind of edge it out a little bit for me. But this one is spectacular. I mean, if I ever saw anything like that with my own eyes, I'd lose my mind. So cool. And honestly, you guys have kind of talked me into number 5 too. I don't know why I didn't spend much time looking at it or remembering it from the original rounds that we did, but absolutely fascinating. Yeah, there's something embryonic about it. It reminds me a little bit of like a Picasso thing too, just very abstract. And I don't know if that is sky or reflection. So it just gets me thinking, no context. So yeah, I would say those are probably my top choices. And I'm very much in the camp that I don't want to identify like a tree. That's not, even though it's an aerial, that's just not abstract to me. Like the one with number 12 with the waterfall in the background, like super cool. Like if it had just been on that foreground element, I wouldn't know what it was, but the waterfall gives it too much context for me, even though it's an awesome scene. But yeah, that's just where I'm coming from.
Alex.
Are you ready
Impeccable
for my
timing.
profound comments?
Yeah.
Bring it on.
We'll have a break while you do it.
Yeah, no, I really like the tennis ball photo. That for me is just so interesting. The first one, even though it's turned upside down, I still love that. Yeah, and I mean, there's lots of others that I find. I mean, I think number 9 is really nice, particularly because it's so alternate to the other images. And I love 14, but it feels like I'm loving it mostly because it's the most perfect version of the snow effect that I've seen before. Yeah.
Sorry, one more comment, Tim.
Hold on.
I couldn't make sense out of number 8. Does anyone? I mean, I think it's
Yeah, I know what
sand
number
dunes,
8
but
is. It's
yeah,
a
what?
trip back to Brazil.
Is it mud?
It's sand dunes.
It is sand
but
dunes.
shot
Or is
shot
it-
from above.
Yeah, it's the same national park that came up earlier.
Okay,
What's
that's super
that
interesting.
really
Almost looks
strong
like
blacks?
like the underside of a mushroom or something.
Yeah,
The
it's pretty
textures
cool.
at the top right-hand side, they're not being wind-blown ridges. Any idea what they are? Because that looks more like a mud shallows with
There are places in Namibia, it looks very similar to where you have Barken dunes on marble shelves, where that
That's-
thing
yeah.
top right kind of looks like eroded marble.
That's what I was
But
wondering.
then at the same time, it's got sandy ripples, and that, there where the shadow light line is, looks like a dune spine.
So these are possibly like the geology bedrock and then sand dunes on top.
Yeah.
That
Makes
makes sense. Yeah.
Right. Have at it.
Good luck.